Hello ducklings, my name is Sanniz and I'm from Sweden and I'm back with a new video. But first, don't forget to do the usual stuff and see you soon. Hello ducklings, my name is Sanniz and I'm back with a new video, and this time it's actually a video that have to do with the 90s, and I saw those questions on, and I got a big fly here, excuse me. Saw video from Erica and from Andy. I'll put down the video links in the description box too so you can watch them, and they did all those type of questions about the 90s. I'm gonna use paper so I remember the different subjects and what's going on. So let's start what I'm thinking about in the 90s. So the first part is in 3 parts. So it's 15 questions on every part. So this first part is, what are your memories and thoughts of the following 90s fashion trends? And I start with bomber jackets. Bomber jackets for me was a big no, because for me that was connected to skinheads, and the skinheads was not nice people, at least where I lived, so no. And I don't think they look good either. So if you are a pilot in the Air Force or something, maybe, but not else. Then we come to slip dresses. Of course I had some, but mainly under or over other type of things, but not that many. Blazers. Yes, I had actually 2. One black, when I wanted to tone down a little my goth type of thing, and one that actually was green, and not directly green, it was more like a jade type of green, almost going to the turquoise part. And I have been watching this blazer for a long while, but I didn't have the money to buy it. And when I finally got enough money, my friends were so frustrated, so they actually forced me to buy that, because I started to think maybe it's not worth the money. So it ended up I had one, but I didn't use it that often, and now I don't have any at all. And then we go to stirrup pants. Yes, I had that too, but mine was mainly a black one, so nothing strange there. But it was not that good to have them during winter time, because if you have them like the fall was, they're gonna be dirty and that type of things, and so it was not a long time living for me. Then we come to flannel shirts. Nope, never owned one. I had maybe some boyfriend have some, but that's all. And for me still, I don't know, I have this thing when I think that type of shirts, I always thinks about someone who lives in the forest, like in Canada or Alaska or something like that. I don't know why, but that's my thoughts. And overalls, no, I didn't use overalls. I never liked overalls anyway. And then we come to crop tops. Not that much crop tops during that time, because I always liked oversized t-shirts more. And it depends, maybe because I was mainly doing a lot of sports too, so I was not really directly up-dressed that long time during the 90s, because I was busy with either work or with actually sporting type of things. So I was dressed after what I was doing. And then we come to tie-dye shirts. Now, not my thing. I can think it's cool, but it's not my type of things. Then we come to tracksuits. Now, not for fashion, but I had different type of tracksuits when it comes to sports. but that was my limit. No tracksuits as a fashion statement. Hammer pants, never. I never liked those baggy pants. It took a little longer before I liked something that was baggy, but not that type of style anyway. And then we come to hair crunches and banana clips. No, for both, especially the second one, because it didn't stay in my hair, it slide off all the time, so no need to even try to put it up in that type of things. Jeans jacket. Yeah, I had jeans jacket. I had several jeans jackets. Even now I have jeans jackets, so what's that for type of question? It was even before the 90s, so I'm old. Then we come to acid wash jeans. And if you know my age when it comes to that type of things, I thought that was ridiculous, because when I was younger, I am born 68. So for us to using jeans, it was like a competition to actually use your jeans as much as possible to get them to a certain state. So when it comes to those, when they had those acid washed ones, so when they started with all those ripped parts of it, we older was looking at, are you fucking lazy? We did that. We used our jeans to a certain degree to show, you can see we have used them. We have them since day one. They might have even been very dark blue from start, but look at them now. So no, I never bought anything that already been in that type of way, because why should I pay so much for something that could be natural after you actually using them? And then we come to Dr. Marten's boots. I only had that from end of 90s maybe, because before that I couldn't really afford the type of things, and we didn't really have shops for that, but I had similar type of things, but not Dr. Martens. I have that later. And then we come to choker necklace. I had, but I didn't use them that much, because I'm not that keen all the time to have something close to my throat, even if I those days could have things without problem, but it was that feeling. Maybe that was, I never liked those shirts with the high thing. And then we got to the second part before I started something even more ridiculous than I do. And this part with 15 question is, did you use or own the following 90s items? And I start with number 1, music cassette tapes and or CDs. And hello! When it comes to cassettes, we have that already during the 80s. And when I think about it, I just wonder if I actually already have it in the 70s. Because I remember that I have recorded from different radio stations and that type very early. But I think that most thing when it comes to cassette tapes, when it was only came from that you had that possibility to do it from your vinyl thing, you could already record songs to a cassette tape that way, because we didn't have that much. It was radio stations and those annoying DJs that always was talking and destroyed everything you tried to record anyway. So just a little bit of the song was without any talking, and if you were lucky and find a DJ that didn't talk that much in the beginning and the end, of course they started to talk in the middle of it. So what's the worst? The beginning and disappear, or they start talking in the middle of everything. CDs came in the end of the 90s. I remember that because no, I think we already had, now I said wrong, it's not in the end of the 90s, but in the end of the 80s, I mean. I can't even keep them dates proper now. I think they started to come already in the end of 80s, because we were talking about that when I went still in school, because I finished the last I have been in school was 88, so I know that we were discussing the ridiculous pricing it was on those, and they were saying they should take away the vinyl and everything, but yeah, they maybe have stolen a bit of the market after that, but I'm old-fashioned, and if I could choose and it was not too pricey, I'm still going for the old-fashioned vinyl, because to get that type of album, you get all the posters and everything that maybe was inside, and you could get much bigger things about the lyrics and everything. So nothing hits a big vinyl album in that case. Then we come to number 2, alarm clocks, and now I suddenly think, but didn't I have that already in the end of the 80s? Because I'm pretty sure that I woke up to that before, and even when I get to work, so I think I have that. But yeah, I have used alarm clocks, but they don't go that much. It's the same now, but now I still wake up before, so it's very rare an alarm sets off, and I'm not a snoozer. I hate snoozer people. I have been with people that have been snoozing and I almost killed them, especially when I had a sleepy morning and I started snooze. My morning was destroyed because of that. And then we come to number 3, VCR and video cassettes, and as I like before, we had that already in the 80s. But yes, that was something we used a lot, and it was also a way for me to catch up with things. If I missed something on the TV I wanted to see, so I could put it on a timer and they could record it for me. But we had it already in the 80s. Number 4 is rollerblades. I haven't owned one, but I have tried. But they were not that popular over here, at least during the time. And when I know later it come those that was called inliners, I think they are. They were more popular, but it's still nothing that hit over here. We can see that in American movies and that type of things when they go to hamburger places and that type of things, and they come up with what you have ordered and have roller place on the feet. Wallpapers. This was a very funny thing because, well, I don't know, we always had wallpapers since I was a little kid, because the parents hated when we had done some drawings as a kid, so more nipping off some bits of it, so they have to do a new part. And it's just maybe latest 7-8 years or something I haven't had any wallpapers, because in the flats nowadays you're not allowed to do so much with the walls if you don't want to pay a lot when you move. And if I move, I don't want to spend that much money to them to be satisfied over the state of the flat. It's one thing if you live your own house, then you can do more things, but I know there's still wallpapers, and it's even better sorts nowadays, and I have used them when I lived in the house too, and they were very easy to put up nowadays compared with the old ones. So, but yes, we did have that, and I have put up wallpapers too. So, but it's shitty to take down. That's the worst part. If you regret to, that's the shitty work for sure. And then we go to a lava lamp. Yes, I had one, but I don't remember if it was during the 90s or later. I don't know. I don't remember. But I think it broke, so that's it. And then we come to fanny pack. Not sure I had it during the 90s. I think I had one during the 80s when I was still in the beginning, just finished school and started work, and when I was doing interrail and that type of things, it was an easy way to keep things at you without carrying around. I have something that I used in the same way like now, but it's more like a hip bag, or you put it like a belt around, and you can even attach it to your legs, so it's safer. But it's not the same thing. But I had one at least during my years, but I'm not sure if it was during the 90s or if it was the 80s. Then we come to a Nintendo Game Boy. No, I haven't owned one. I have similar type of games when I was younger, but when it comes to the 90s, I was already 20 plus, so it was computer games more. It was more like Amiga, Commodore 64 and those type of things. So that was what we playing with. And then we come to POGS. No, I'm not even sure I have seen that type of things. I had to Google to know what that was. And to be honest, I'm not sure they have that type of things over here because I haven't even seen the kids. I'm too old for it, so it was not for me. Brown lipstick. No, I never used brown, and I'm not that keen of brown. I tried to have some type of brownish now recently, but I don't know. It's a color that I don't like on my lips, at least. I can use brown on other type of makeup, but not on my lips. Beanie Babies. Also before my time. I'm too old. When I was younger, it was like those monchichi, I think they called those small monkey type of things that we used. But and we had small trolls too when I was younger. So, but during the 90s, I was too old for that, so I didn't have that type of things. Lisa Frank stationery. Had to Google that, and the answer is no. I'm too old for it, so no. FURBY. It's the same like with the Beanie Babies. I was too old for that trend too, so I didn't have any, and I didn't even have it like a mascot or something like that either. Then we come to NOKIA cell phone. Yes, I had one, or I had a few NOKIA cell phones, but yeah, I think I started to get that in the end of the 90s. Before that they were clumsy and everything, but when I started to do more riding and had my own horses and that type of things, and helped out in stables where it was maybe hard to reach a telephone if something happens, so I had to get one because it was some bits to travel to with the car if something happens on the road, plus if something happens in the stable. I thought I needed one, but I was waiting very long before I got one, so it was just for safety type of things I got it. And I had Nokia for a very long time till we got small phones, and then I changed, and then after that it's always been Samsung. And then I come to the last question, Boombox. Yeah, I had Boombox, but we had that already during the 80s, so it's nothing new that I did. So now we go to the last bit, but there are 15 questions, and that is what were your faves from the 90s, and I have to put Google to see things, but some of the things have already started in the end of the 80s and finished maybe in the beginning, and then we had things that started very late in the 90s, so it went over like that. So I tried to take something from it, but not everything. So when it comes to TV shows, we have that hard things to what I should take. So I just gonna say some of them I was watching, but I watched more than that. But the problem when it comes to compare with American and UK and their type of TV shows, that is in some cases they were changing the name on the TV show into a Swedish type of thing, so even if they kept it in English, they changed it. So sometimes we had another name on it over here, so it's the same with the movies. It's sometimes very hard to know which one, because I remember maybe under another name if I still have it in memory, but then the original is completely different, if you know what I mean, or in English, and we had a Swedish name on it, so that's why it can be a little difficult. But when it comes to TV shows, I have put down Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Friends, Baywatch, Hercules, The X-Files, and Beverly Hills 90210. So that's all. When it comes to hairstyle, either was something similar like now, but I had like more this bang or some, what you should call it, that went like more like a wave down, maybe a little from the side, and then it went down in a certain way. I can try to put a pic from closer in time to that. Or I had permed hair, little longer, but during a time I tried to have the same hair like Madonna had during her Vogue time, or Express Yourself, that type of videos. If you see here with a short hair that is curled in some type of bob type of things, I think it could be. That was a hair that was easy to use because the perm helped my hair to stay in place, even if my hair was not easy to perm, because everything went more straighter than it should be. But when I was riding that often and I always had a helmet on, so you know, take off the helmet and down the head, do it a little this, and suddenly your hair looked okay-ish at least for a while. Or if I was going with motorcycles, it was the same problem. So I wanted to have some hair that was easy to have in place. So that was what I had during the time. I was still blonde in the 90s, so it was not before 2001 I changed hair color. Outdoor activity. Yeah, the whole year riding. I had my own Icelandic horses too. I was helping in a stable too with that type of horses. So, and we didn't have any indoors type of place if you didn't travel away to some place that had that type of things. When we were on different type of exercises and that type of things, or competitions, so whatever it was. But else, summertime, I don't know if you count riding motorcycles. But during those years I was not riding myself, I was the one that was sitting in the back, and I was often the lonely girl in the big guy gang anyway, so it was me and the boys. And during those years it was mostly the fast Japanese browns we were on too, so my dream already back then was to have that type of motorcycle, and yeah, that type of things was my favorite bike, number one. And then we got to alcoholic beverage. I'm not that, it was a little wine now and then, or it was cider, or maybe some easier drink like San Francisco, whatever you call them, but not that much. I could take some Baileys too, and I still love Baileys, but I haven't drank it for a while. But I guess that's one I'm never gonna be tired of. If something else happens with me, so I lose that taste. But Baileys, I love Baileys. And then we come to perfume, and to be honest, I don't even remember what I used during the 90s. I thought I remember one, but it shows up that it came in the beginning of the 2000s, so then I was thinking, what did I use before that? Because I know in the 80s I used something when I started to use my first perfume, Anne. But during the 90s, what did I use? I forgot. And I don't remember if Naomi Campbell was before Hugo Boss Deep Red, when that one was released. That was my favorite in the beginning of 2000. So I don't remember. Sorry. And then we come to Lotion scent. I could think that type of things smells good, but I'm still I don't use that much lotions if I don't need to. I should probably need, but I don't like that sticky feeling, you know, even if they said it's soaking and that type of things, but they don't. But I can still think they smell good, but I think the smells is just the same as on perfumes. If my nose like it, I'm gonna like it, and if it, yeah, hard to say because I'm not 100% sure which one I like. Movie and movie stars. I put down one that came just in the end, Blade. So that must be the number one. And tried to find movie stars, and I put down Brad Pitt, Mel Gibson, Sigourney Weaver. I'm so bad at selling names. So I'm not gonna name drop anything because I don't even remember the movies I was watching and everything, so because everything is, I think something is older, and then it shows up it's not that old, and then I think, oh, but that one is not that old, and she was thinking, oh my god, I must be old because that one was old already. So it's so hard, this type of questions sometimes. And then it comes to candy. If I need to take a brand, it must be Marabou mjölkchoklad. And Marabou is a Swedish brand that do chocolate. So, and if it's the one that is with hazelnuts, is gonna be my favorite #1 for sure. But nowadays I don't eat that much chocolate and that type of things. And if I buy candies, mainly the one that you mix yourself, and you go to these different boxes and you pick a little from each one you like, and then you got added it in a type of jar or whatever you can call it, and or in a big bag, and then you pay after the weight instead. So I don't have that much. I was not that big. I prefer popcorn and ice cream actually. Popcorn and ice cream. And where was we? Store at the mall. And we didn't have that much mall, and still don't have that much mall in the same way like you have in the States, for example. But if I should say, when I was younger and never was going to something, so I had to travel to Gothenburg to go to my favorite shops there, but they are not existing anymore either, so it's not that easy to say something. But back then, if I went to something similar, it was not in the mall, but it was close to what you could call a mall. That was a shock during that time, and have alternative clothes, and during those years it was still more goth clothes, but it don't exist anymore because it was just some year ago. It's only online nowadays, so it's a pity. But it was the big change when they changed what I sold for clothes, and the goth part gone less and less and very minimal. So then you lose your crowd. That's what it goes. If people not interested, and they can buy other things on internet, or on they can even buy things that their shop never gonna take in. So I guess you can't have that type of shop if you don't have people enough, and the alternatives in over here is not that visible anymore either, so that's why they dies too. And then it comes place to go on a date, and what did you wear? Should I be honest? I didn't date that much when I was younger because I was always occupied with other things. I had my dates and that type of things, but I guess the times we went for something, so it was often either you went to the cinema or you went to a pizzeria, because you didn't have that much money, at least in the beginning of the 90s. So you did much of the most. what you should say. I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. But honest, I didn't date much, and even when I was older I didn't date directly either. So it's strange that I've still always been in some type of relationship after a certain age, but I can't say that I've been that good at dating. I've been very bad. I don't think I even understand if someone had been interesting. I was too shy. So jewelry, I didn't wear that much because, like I said, I was sporting a lot. So if it wasn't that type of sport, that I couldn't wear it because it could be a risk for myself. So I was riding, so I didn't wear that much during the 90s, at least. I had maybe bracelets and that type of things, but not that much necklaces and rings and that type of things, because they were often in the way. And then we come to makeup brand. We didn't have that much to choose from, actually, if you're gonna buy it directly from a store. But I know that because I was goth, and to find that type of makeup that the ordinary shops didn't have, so Stargazer was the #1 if you can. But then you had to go to Gothenburg to get it. So that was the only way. And shoes. Yeah, practical. I was over practical. I did have some shoes, but because of what I did, depending on the season, And what I did, so either it was sport shoes, because it was that type of shoes that I needed for what I was training or whatever, or it was riding boots or motorcycle boots. So actually I've been more practical than nice, but no, I don't remember so much. I had some type of Dr. Marten similar in the late of the 90s, but before that I had some type of, but it was more practical ones, so not that much sensation, if you know what I mean. And then we come to music videos. I promise this video is soon over. You don't have to suffer more with me. But I had to Google to see what the music videos was. And I thought that I actually should mention songs that maybe not everyone think that I should mention because I'm a goth. So, or you know that I sometimes listen to metal music because of my mood or whatever. But I also listen a lot to the 80s and that. But now it's the 90s we're talking about. So I had to Google 90s videos and that to see which one. And I picked some that I actually loved. And one video is with Alanis Morissette, Ironic, and I did love the lyric because it's ironic. Of course we have Closer with 9 Inch Nails, and because of my hair you should probably guess, Madonna, Vogue. Then we got Beastie Boys, Sabotage, and It's Also Quiet with Björk. And the last, that is Soap Opera. And I had to Google that too. And I think some of them started in one thing, and like I said, this when it goes over from one to next, or you know. So I'm just gonna mention some because I couldn't find so much, and I didn't have any energy really to investigate what we really was, because some of the things we haven't seen that early, that been like on the UK or American markets with TV shows, because not always Sweden been that fast to getting things, so we can be a little late with seeing some things, and some things we saw in the similar time like all others. But it's better nowadays when, because they have to keep up more updated with everything. So but back then it was not that. But I have found out that Melrose Place, Neighbours, Dallas, and Emmerdale. And the last one I actually still watching, and Trevor hated. He hated. He said, "Oh my God, you're watching that shit." When I started watching the program and I hear the music for it, and he, oh my God. And I was laughing when he said in the beginning, when we started to talk on Twitter before we knew each other in person, so okay. I know we were mentioning things we were watching, like TV soaps and that type of things, and he was mentioning how much he hated Emmerdale. And I burst out laughing because I said, okay, you're gonna get a problem then. And what's that? I am watching Emmerdale, but then it is not named Emmerdale here is Hem till Gården, home to the farm, or whatever you should translate it. So there's a big example when they don't have the same name. But that was all. I didn't do any makeup like Erika and Andy did, but instead I was talking with you, and maybe this was not the best video ever, but I'm not gonna do any changing of things and making it. This is what you get when it's not planning, and this is what you get when it's spontaneous. Things can go wrong, things can go funny, you name it, but I still hope you like it. And else, you can subscribe if you haven't, and in that case press the notification bell, give me likes, interaction is good for my channel, and comment. I love comments, but try to stay nice. I don't understand people that have to be rude, because what's the point with it? If you don't like it, don't watch. That's a simple thing for me. Don't watch if you don't like it. Else, stay safe, stay weird, and be nice to each other. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye.